Hello. How's it going? How's it going? How's everybody's Saturday, right? Yes. Saturday going. Hey Kishi, hey Darian, hey Music's covers. I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but yeah, I know your Instagram tag. Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing much. What's up with you? Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How have you been? How's your day been, Melissa? How's your workout?
Oh, it's good. I just climbed up and down the stairs where I live because it was raining
Well,
so much. I couldn't like go for a run or anything. So yeah.
Well, trust me, it's better than me. I have not been adjusting to home workouts at all. I'm more of a gym rat, and I'm just like struggling to work out at home. So you have
Yeah.
been doing much more than I have. So
I
congratulations.
I I brought the gym to my house actually. So I like got all this stuff from Decathlon. So
Nice,
I would have not survived without like any equipment as well. So I completely understand.
amazing,
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
So Melissa, let's get into
Where,
it. Thank you.
where are
Sorry,
you
go ahead. Go
based?
ahead.
Where are you based? Are
I
you in
am
Sri Lanka?
studying. I'm doing my masters. I was about to say I'm doing my Melbourne in masters. I'm doing
Okay,
my masters in Melbourne.
okay. Pretty cool.
Uh,
Awesome stuff. When,
yeah.
but what is, how long more do you have to stay there now?
I can literally see the finish line. I am on my last semester.
Oh, nice. Oh, okay. Cool,
Yeah,
cool, cool. A- a-
absolutely.
And then
Um,
you will stay there in Australia.
um, Here's the thing, right? With the virus, don't know what the job market's gonna look like. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
try and see what my options are. Hopefully, work
Mm-hmm.
for like a creative agency or something like that, and get some experience in. But
Mm-hmm.
my passion lies in social work. So like social work for mental health and social work for domestic abuse and stuff like that. Because my mom has gone through that, so it's something very personal to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that I want to take back to Sri Lanka and add value as much as I possibly can. But yeah, I'm studying marketing. But the thing is, skills are transferable, right? So like everything I learn, I'm trying to use my creative side of things to raise more awareness as much as I possibly can. So yeah, that's me. But anyway, I don't want this to be a discussion of what I'm doing. Melissa, firstly, I want to thank you for making the time. You are a busy person on the weekdays, and I'm more than happy that you at least had the time today, and I'm super, super grateful for you to making the time. But for people who don't know, Melissa used to be or still is a fitness influencer, but but she's a lawyer by profession and she's working currently in Singapore. And
No,
for lack of,
uh,
sorry,
I don't practice law in Singapore, so I
I know,
studied
yeah,
law.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Smart
So
thing.
she studied law, but she's working for a communications organization.
Mhm. Correct.
Um, but the thing is, she's someone who I have heard a lot about. Both, it's been a wide amount of information that I've heard a lot about over the past years. But
Yeah.
something that I've taken into my heart is someone who doesn't give a shit. Right? You stick to your guns and you really speak your mind, and it doesn't come from a place of ignorance. It comes from a place of facts and figures, which people don't see because they're instantly affected, and as soon as they're affected, they attack. But yeah, Meliza, tell us all about you. Why
Oh,
are you in Singapore? What are you doing there? Why have you left us in Sri Lanka? Please tell us all about you. And why are you not a
uh,
fitness influencer?
okay. So I think I'm not a fitness influencer because I try as much as I can to be honest on Instagram. I don't like to put on a show, and I don't try to pretend to be someone that I'm not. I have seen girls and guys talking so much about fitness. They'll be out on the weekends, like downing shots and smoking cigarettes, and then on Monday morning talking to everybody about how healthy they should be and whatnot. So I drink and I smoke, and I am not gonna go on my Instagram and be like, oh, I'm so healthy and I do this and that, when I know, like, when I've just seen it to my own eyes, like, I just can't be that dishonest. I think it's bullshit. I'm not saying I'm Virgin Mother Mary and I do everything right in life. I have enough and more times where I have sinned and still sinning, but just being that dishonest, like, it just really trickles down to my personal life. I can't look at 109,000 people and lie to their face. I honestly don't know how other people do it. And irrelevant of how much I try to be honest, I still get hit by the whole I'm fake, I'm this, I'm that. I mean, but it's okay. But like, at least I'll try to be as honest as I possibly can. I came to Singapore because I really wanted to get out of Sri Lanka because I wanted to see the world. And it was just vital for me in like every aspect, because traveling like really opens up your mind. Not so much, I don't even mean sometimes in like a philosophical way, like it's just like materialistically, it can show you like a lot of opportunities that you wouldn't even think is possible. So unless or otherwise you really experience the finer things in life, it's not possible to like get you to understand what it really feels like to have those type of comforts. So just going in the bus without having 101 people like freaking staring at me and sticking their tongue out at me is, I take a lot of comfort in that, so I could appreciate that. And when I came here, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in heaven. And it's not that I hate Sri Lanka, but man, I just had to get out. I just really had to get out of there. So yeah, that's why I left. And yeah,
Amazing.
it's been good.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. I just to add on to a few of the points you said. So one of the things that I completely agree on is when it comes to travel. So like when I graduated, so I didn't do well at school at all. So I got like very average grades, and then I learned more about my mom's financial difficulties. So she has gone through a lot of judgment, glass ceiling effect, harassment at work, you name it. She's gone through it as a single
Mm-hmm.
mother.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I had to prove myself. So I did prove myself when it came to my undergraduate, and I did really well. And her
Mm-hmm.
gift to me was a partially paid trip to Singapore and Malaysia. That was my first trip ever abroad.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to Singapore, it was my first roller coaster ride, first this,
Yeah.
first that, first everything. It was a solo trip, right? So it was
Yeah.
like very eye opening.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I loved it. And travel really opens your eyes up to one, realizing that other countries and how they think is something Sri Lanka can be, but we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do. And even to add on to that, so mental health was something that I never really thought of. So I've been suicidal 3 times in my life. I've gone through depression. I was contemplating suicide like literally on Thursday, right? So I'm still
Mm-hmm.
someone who's in this journey. But the thing
Yeah.
is, Australia has opened my eyes up to what mental health is. And if I had spoken about these things in Sri Lanka, and people still, I still get messages calling me a porne and all those things for like talking about mental health and attention seeker and all of those things. But the thing is, I know my heart's in the right place and intention is in the right place. Um,
Okay.
so I just wanted to add on to that and add some context so you know who the hell I am as well and why am I doing this
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just want to touch on, obviously, like you said, there is a lot of fake out there, right? There is a lot of people who preach certain things and are completely different people in person, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
I used to do food and travel. So I used to be a quote unquote influencer.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in that ecosystem as well and I've seen it. So I want you to talk to one thing first, right? So, like when I was doing research on you, the first thing that comes up, and this is really sad to me, but the first thing that comes up in the search feed is gossip
Yeah.
under your
Gossip
name,
Lanka. Hero
right?
TV
So,
star
like,
or some bloody bullshit thing they say about me. But yeah, go on.
right? So, like,
Yeah.
I really want to know how that makes you feel because I know you're someone who doesn't take shit. You've really built up thick skin like over the years. Like
Mm-hmm.
I used to hear about you when you just got your law degree, and even when you were succeeding in getting your law degree, you were still getting shit because like
Yeah.
how can a lawyer show so much skin on social media? And I'm just like, what? So like I really want
Yeah.
to know from your perspective, like what was that journey like? Because yes, you're growing an audience, but are you happy with the audience that you're growing? And how did that affect your mental health? And how did you grow that thick skin?
Um, okay, so that's a great
It's a heavy loaded
question.
question.
Yeah, I'm just like, um, Okay, so I think it started like back much earlier before I got on social media. Um, when I was quite young, so I had to go through a lot of bullying as a kid in school. And this was like bullying to an extent where because I was so young. I was just like 11, 12, and I was this naughty kid. I was very naughty. Like, I'll have like five different boyfriends, and I'll be like messing up with the teachers and like annoying all the other students. And I was just bad, and I was naughty, but it was coming out of a place of like innocence. I didn't really like, I never did things like just out of spite, out of anger. But then I just got branded as this really, really naughty kid. And what happened was I just got bullied a lot by the teachers, and the teachers had like a lot of things to say about me. They would call me like the corrupted child and this and that. And then, so because I used to talk to boys, I used to get like really bullied to an extent where it was really difficult. So I was part of the swimming squad at St. Peter's College. Anyway, SPC one, and I remember that was this was like the turning point actually in my life. I was going after swimming. I was walking out of the school, so we start swimming at like 4 a.m. in the morning, and then train for around 2 hours, and then we walk. We had to walk through the school to get to the bus stand so we can take the bus to school. And then I remember I was around maybe 15, 16, and these boys started uh, like what's the word? Obscenities? I don't know. Okay, obscene. I don't know. Okay, so they were saying like really rude things. So they would like shout it and then run, right? And then like hide behind the walls. And it was so embarrassing because I would take that walk along with my parents and like the other swimmers' parents. And those parents would be looking at my parents like, this is the daughter like you have, like, how embarrassing is this for you, sort of. And I would be just so tormented. And more than being upset, it was the anger, and at that point, like if I had a gun, I would have just like looked around and wanted to shoot someone in the fucking head, like I would have got so I was so angry, and it just made me so sad. And I remember I couldn't do that walk of shame anymore, it was just so difficult for me. But then I was talking to one of my friends over the phone that night because he was from St. Peter's, and I was trying to ask him, like, if you know who's doing it, can you please tell them to stop? Like, I'm begging you, please stop, right? It's so embarrassing. My parents are being embarrassed in front of everyone. It's humiliating. And like, because they wouldn't say like normal things. They'd be like, fucking slut, you whore, like, shit like this, right? And then um, I remember, so I told him, he's like, give me some time to figure it out. Like, I'll try and see what I can do. And I was like, okay, but until you do it, I'm not going for practice. And he said, I will never forget this. This was like the turning point. He said, we don't run from our problems. That's not what we do, right? So you go back and you keep going for swimming, and they can keep screaming all they want until they tire of it. And you just keep your head held high and you just walk, right? That's it. And that was genuinely just the turning point. And I had to develop like such thick skin from school days itself. So when it came to social media, like people were like, "Oh, like you whore, like we're gonna come to your home and kill you, like we're gonna kill your family." Like this is the type of things that they used to say to me, and I was literally like at a point where I was just like, "Okay," because like I've just had to go through so much of bullying and harassment while I was in school that when I actually had to face it on social media, it was like, is that all you got? Really, it really doesn't bother me, and I'm not really saying that if people do bully you and it does hurt you, I'm not telling you like, you should like just ignore it, because sometimes it's not possible. It's not possible to just ignore it. Like some people get hit harder than the rest of us, and I understand that. But I also like, because a lot of people ask like, how do you do it? How do you turn a blind eye? And the genuine truth is just that like you have to learn to let go. You have to learn to just let it go. But Melissa, I can't let it go. I'm always thinking about it. It's how can you just let it go? You just have to. That's it. Point blank. You know, and there's no use like us going around advocating kindness and telling everyone to be kind, because people are not going to be kind all the time. You just you can't like, you can't get 7 billion people on this world to be kind, right? But you can teach people to be strong, right? So if you love someone and you want to protect them, you can't build walls like, I mean, you can build walls all the way to the sky, but the demons are going to come from underneath and get them anyway. So if you can't change the world, at least you can try and change them and say, you know what, you got this, just let it go and move on. Like you can do this, you know. And like it's not coming from a place where I want to be like insensitive towards people who actually get hit hard by matters like this. But I'm just trying, like, if you ask me how do you do it, this is what I'm telling you, this is how I did it, you know. So I don't know, that's like, that's just that's me. That's how I got over it.
No,
And yeah.
absolutely. And that's the thing, right? Everyone has their own story and their own journey, right? And you're speaking for yourself, and that's completely fair. And everyone should be entitled to their own opinion, right? It's just like you
Yeah.
shouldn't be bashed about it. But if you're going to have an argument, have an intellectual argument, not
Yeah.
scream words that in thoughts that it could affect you, right?
Yeah.
Like for example, like I've been bullied as a kid as well. I was bullied for being the thin kid. I was bullied for standing up for a girl one day. I was bullied for so many things, but opposite to you, I'm still learning to become stronger, right? I'm still
Yeah.
learning to accept that happened, and but instead of like weeping and mourning about it, I'm trying to figure out how I can use it as a story to tell people that yes, I've been bullied too. Because the thing is, all of these taboo conversations, quote unquote taboo conversations, as soon as you start talking about it, people relate to it more. And as soon as they relate to it, it normalizes the situation. As soon as you normalize it, more people start talking about it, and more people get stronger because they're just like, okay, this is something that I can raise. This is something that I can become stronger from because other people are going through it as well. And something that like I didn't do for like the longest time, for like 15 years, because I was bullied on my birthday. I was emotionally bullied. Um, I'm going to block this guy for a second because I don't like him. I don't know how you handle it. I honestly don't know how you handle it. But basically, when I was bullied on my birthday, emotionally bullied into thinking the prettiest girl in school liked me. And for 15 years, I didn't celebrate my birthday, right? But if it was you in that situation, you would have been like, fuck it, fuck it, like it happened. I'm not going to stop celebrating my birthday, but I'm like trying to figure that shit out as well. Um, so like
Yeah.
one thing that I want to ask as well, so like I remember this conversation like it was yesterday. I was talking to my ex-girlfriend about hate on social media. And basically the biggest thing that as soon as I said that, she was just like, yeah, like Meliza, like how much hate she went through when she was like creating content on social media and she was starting to be a lawyer and all of those things. And
Yeah.
you've clearly had a lot of thick skin like over the years. That one turning point has really shaped you to be who you are today. And I want to
Mm.
ask for any woman or man right now who is genuine with their content, who is creating content with good intent, and their heart's in the right place, but they're
Mm.
receiving hate anyway. I
Yeah.
know you said that just be strong, you have to have thick skin. If you had any tips, if they can't really snap into it, like I can't snap into it, it's a learning process for me.
Yeah.
What are your like biggest tips that you can tell to people to get through the situation that they're in?
Okay, this is going to be a really unpopular opinion, but I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to tell you. Um,
Say,
if you can't take the heat, then just don't do it. Sorry. This is just the way it is, right? So when when I did what I did on social media, right? I was going against what people were used to in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is like a conservative country, and they have certain cultures. They have traditions. They're a proud race. And if somebody was going to stand up against them and question those rights, I should not be sitting on my butt expecting everyone to clap for me. That's wrong. That is why I didn't retaliate to the people who were saying shit about me, because I understood. I was able to get into their shoes and be like, okay, yeah, you know what? We're not ready for that right now. and everybody was like, no, we need to step into the future. This is the future, women doing what they want and this and that. But no, there's so many other ways of development. This women posting like half nude pictures on Instagram doesn't have to be the best way for development, right? So I didn't expect everyone to be in the bandwagon with me, and that's fine, right? So when I did what I did, I knew that there was going to be a backlash, but I knew that I can take it because of the crap that I had to go through for a really long time. And I also have a really strong support system. So if you want to go against the system, you want to challenge them, you want to do something different, then get ready, because you're going to get a good slap back. If you can't do it, then step back and let people who can actually take the backlash go ahead and do it. Because otherwise, you're just creating this culture of like victimization, like you always play the victim. Oh, I'm so sad, like why does everyone hate me? Because that's just the way the world is, man. That's just the way the world is. You can be the best, most amazing, like god fearing person on this planet, and there's always going to be someone who's going to be like, that's a hoe. So just like, if you can't take it, then sit back, relax, and there is no issue with that. There is no problem with that. We don't all have to be on like social media talking about things that like amaze us. You can have like a really nice family for yourself, work at home, I don't know, like cook for your husband and take care of 2 kids and live your life. That's fine. We don't all have to do this. If you can't do it, don't do it, right? And even if you're out there, like even if you're like wanting to create content and you get like people who are like saying mean things to you, and like they say you're not genuine and all, okay, like get over it. Take it on a scale. So you get like 100 people who say good things and you get 10 people who say bad things, right? Okay, bloody get over it. Majority wins, right? But if you have 100 people saying you're doing a good job and then 300 people saying that you're doing a bad job, it means you better start like you better start contemplating on whether or not you're doing a bad job at whatever you're doing, right? So it's just like we have to like emotionally take a step back from social media and just understand it and appreciate it for what it is. Some people are making money out of this, some people are just doing it for fun, like example. But just get ready. Like don't expect everyone to pat you on the back and say, yeah, you're doing a great job. You're never going to get that. You're never going to get that. And if you can't take it, that's fine, man. You do you. Don't be on social media. Unpopular
Absolutely.
opinion. Sorry, but like that's it.
No,
I know I come off as insensitive, but it really is the truth. It's the truth. Like
no, it is. And I think, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I just like, I had friends who were surrounding me and like they loved me a lot, and it came to a point where like my friends are just like, we can't take this, and I'm like, so don't take it. You don't have to take this. Like, if you can't, then leave, because I'm in this already and I can't get out. This is me, and I'm not backing off. I'm not deleting my Instagram page. I'm not taking down my Facebook, because I can't do that. That's not me, So if you can't take it, don't do it.
Absolutely. And I think I'm the one who's on that weighing scale part of things. So I get a lot of amazing messages and I maybe get like 1 or 2 hate messages. And I'm just like, look, I'm trying to change the landscape of how people think in Sri Lanka, right?
Mm-hmm.
My priority is much bigger than the hate that I'm receiving, and the love that I receive is much bigger than the hate that I'm receiving, right?
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to taboo topics like mental health, people are scared because they're just like, so I did a public speaking thing recently and I put up like a small snippet of it, and it speaks about eco-anxiety, which is a study. It's been a study for a while now. And she's just like, oh, people are killing themselves over climate change. And I'm just like, yes, youth is killing themselves over hopelessness. Suicide is one of the biggest reasons for death rates around the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it became this whole argument, but it was more of an intellectual argument. And he just backed down because I wasn't hating back when he was hating. So another thing that I want to ask you as well is, you tend to not respond, right? To all of these hate comments. You just like let it happen and just bounce off you. It doesn't really affect you, right? I want to ask, if you were in the room, imagine you are in a room with this person, with an individual, not gendered, accumulating all of the hate comments in one being in one room. You can't physically beat them up.
Okay.
You can try and change their ways, or
Mm-hmm.
you can like give hate back, whatever it is. What would you tell them in this room?
Mm-hmm. Mm, I'll set the room on fire. No, I'm joking.
You can't kill them, Meliza.
So at least they can suffer a little. No, 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 I'm joking. So this whole non-retaliation policy, I learned from this speaker called Les Brown. You heard of it? Really great speaker.
No,
Um,
but I will give them after
yeah,
this.
but I think it was him who said it, or it was someone else. That's gonna be really embarrassing if I got the speaker wrong. But they say this thing which is so amazing. He said, um, so decide it doesn't matter, let it go, and experience the magnanimous sense of character that comes with being the bigger person in a situation, right? Uh, Something along those lines. So sometimes I don't respond, not because not not because of anything else, not because I have nothing to say, but mostly because I feel good to forgive you. I feel like I'm a better person and I can go to sleep at night knowing that I don't hate anybody right now. So I forgive not because you deserve it, but because I am going to be the bigger person in this situation. I'm going to force myself to be it. So when it comes from a selfish place, really, it does. But you start having a lot of confidence in yourself. Like you're like, oh my God, like wow, I can do that. I can turn my back and I can walk away without saying anything. Like that puts a lot of like confidence in yourself. And then you actually end up diversifying that confidence. It goes into your career, it goes into your studies, it goes into like if you're doing like if you're doing like gym or whatever, like it spreads, and you start realizing, wow, like if I have the type of character to turn my back and not say a damn word and just hold my tongue, you know then what else am I going to be capable of with this mind of mine? So sometimes I don't do it for them, I do it for myself. So if there was a character like that and I was sitting in front of he, him, her, they, I don't know, I really wouldn't have anything to say because there's nothing to say.
Beautiful. I love that. No, because I completely agree. Like, I don't want to add too much to that because I think that's beautiful as it is. But the only thing that I'll say is that um, sometimes, even when you're having an intellectual argument with someone and they can't be as intellectual or they just want to use the words that they know that are normal to them, sometimes you're winning by just walking away, right?
Oh,
And
100%.
and to those who hurt you and those who just want to see you lose, sometimes forgiveness is the most powerful thing that you can do because you're taking power away from them.
Oh, yeah,
And the power that you actually give them is by fighting back.
yeah. Yeah,
And
exactly.
I agree with that wholeheartedly because whenever I receive hate comments and I try to treat it with compassion and I try to figure out where it's coming from, and then they realize that they're not winning that fight, and either they give up or they just keep screaming, right? And I
Yeah.
know that inside I've just been the bigger person.
Yeah,
Um,
of course. It's like, but when I don't know, when they just keep punching and punching and punching and like they just keep going at it, and it's just like if the strongest thing to do is not to fight back, and a lot of people don't understand that. So I have had like especially when people have told me, like my friends have been like, oh, let it go, they don't really know what they're talking about. They always hurl rocks at like the most fruitful tree or some crap like this. These very same people, they get one hate comment on their Instagram and they'll be talking about it for like 10 months. They'll be like, oh, remember like when that happened to me, I have been through it. I have been through like the most like the windmill or whatever. I've been through the storm. No, you haven't. That is not hate. Okay, that is when you get real hate from people, that is the moment you feel like nobody can save you anymore. Genuinely, it's like it comes to a point where you feel so alone because you understand. It's like nobody can save you because nobody can save you from yourself. And when people keep pointing fingers at you and you think you're the person who is wrong, and it's such a like lonely place to be in. And if you entertain it, that is when you're really going to get depressed. So my way of like non-retaliation is because I'm not going to entertain it. If you say, Meliza, you're a slut, like you're a whore, dude, like then I'll just be like, okay, move on. But if someone tells me, Meliza, I think you should think about it, like your Instagram, think about it like when you're like 35, would you really want pictures of yourself in lingerie on your Instagram page? Like think about your future. Think about how you just might feel. Now, shit like this, of course, that's not hate. That is not hate. That is people asking me to rethink where I stand. They want me to rethink the decisions I have made. And that is coming from like a really good place. So not everyone who says something negative to me is wrong. I don't believe in that. Some people can tell me things like, you need to stop what you're doing or something, blah, 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 this is going to affect you and your family. Like, okay, it's a bit rough, but sometimes it's coming out of a good place. So like not all negative comments are bad. I don't believe that. You have to be able to entertain a few like critics. This is important. So
Absolutely. Having thick skin
yeah.
also means being open to criticism and being open to self-reflect.
Yeah, genuinely. And I also think that like people really like uh the youth need to buckle up, um because they've just become so soft, like flowers. Okay. And every tiny little thing is offensive, it's hurtful, you're a homophobe, you're racist. You know, if I have the right to sit here and talk to you and tell you, oh, Meliza Leitch, I'm all this and I'm all that, then the haters also have a right to speak. They also have the right to say you're a slut. And you don't have to really always entertain it, but you have to entertain the fact that they have the right to say it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and I just think that like a lot of young people these days, man, you say one tiny thing against them, it's like, oh my God, like my life is ending. Like my boyfriend broke up with me, I'm gonna jump off a 10-story building. And I'm not saying it's not a serious problem. Like I have a friend who actually passed away because of this, because he couldn't take it. I'm not saying he's weak, right? I'm not saying that. But I'm definitely saying that he actually was a person who was genuinely suffering with depression. He really couldn't take it. He needed help. But then we have like this other group of 101 people who are like, if I'm a transgender and I'm a man and you call me like a woman, I'm so pissed off and I'm depressed now. Is that real depression? Like, is that a real problem? Are we shifting the focus from people who actually need it to people who just might not need it? And do you get what I mean? There's like a proper balance there. And
Absolutely.
I want to like, I really want to highlight that I may come off as insensitive, but
No, here's the thing, right? One of the things that grinds me the most are when people use topics like mental health or any other topic to seek attention. That grinds my bones because, personally speaking, again, I can't speak for anyone else. I can't speak for what they're going through in their shoes. I can't ever do that, and it's an insult to do that. Speaking
mhm,
from my shoes, having personally gone through depression and almost being on medication as well,
mhm,
I can't. That's something I will not tolerate at all.
yeah,
I cannot ever imagine why people are using suicide or mental health. There
as
are there.
like,
I
yeah,
know
yeah,
one of my closest friends was in a relationship with a guy who was using his life, basically saying, "I will kill myself," and he is not young. He is 27, right? He
yeah,
was using mental health and suicide just to hold on to that relationship, and I was
yeah.
just like, that is
So
sickening. Um,
yeah. Like, and you know, on how, like, so Billie Eilish, this singer, right? She has this whole, you know, depressed, emo girl, like, I'm always so sad and my music is so sad and I'm about like deeper meaning, but she's always like, and all these people are like, oh, you know, like, you're making it a fashion. You're trying to make like mental health, like being depressed, a fashion. You know, like I just feel like sometimes like music, I'm not saying all music that sound like that are bad, but I'm just saying that like people need to open their eyes. That is not what actual depression looks like. Actual depression is something that is very serious. Like, I mean, you know, right? These are very serious issues. So I don't really like it when people especially reach out to me on Instagram and saying, "Oh, you know, I've been crying for a month now. Like this person called me a bitch on my public Instagram page." Like, nah, no, grow a backbone, get over it. You're not depressed. Like you can get over this. You know, like are we really like giving, like are we really like initiating this culture where we are we are promoting people to be just 10 times more sensitive to a situation that they actually should be, you know?
Absolutely. No, I
It,
completely agree.
yeah, I just don't think it should be like some fashion statement. Oh, I'm so depressed and all. You don't know what fucking depressed is. Like, like you don't get it. Like, it's it's not so bad. Like, you need to really like take a step back
Perspective.
and
I think
yeah,
perspective is super important. Like you said, as soon as it becomes like a fashion statement, people are just like, oh, I can fit this into this box. This box is not relevant, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
But it's
yeah,
actually
yeah.
about perspective. But I want to shift conversations for a bit. I want to talk about ego.
Hmm.
You grew very, very fast, very, very quick, right?
Yeah.
You obviously have an audience that loves you, women who love you for standing up for who you are. You have an audience of men who love you for how you look, but also like that you're ballsy. They love your attitude. Like I got a message recently, just like, "Oh my God, Meliza was my like gym crush back in the day." You know, you have those audiences as well. Um, but like at the same time, you still have people who follow you for the wrong reasons. They follow you just to hate on you, or there's women who want to bring you down, thinking this is not the way to go about it. But
Yeah.
the reason why I'm bringing all of these different types of followers into this message is, has that affected your ego? Because you have a large following on Instagram, you can easily do whatever you want with brands and all those things, which you don't
Yeah.
do. But
Yeah.
has that affected your ego to a point where, okay, what I'm doing is right, like I am relevant, I'm above these people? Has it ever
Yeah.
brought your ego up, or like, do you ever have to like have you do you have, ever have those thoughts in your head and you have to actually calm yourself down? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I definitely do think that. I think that from the way that I was actually able to deal with the problem, I was like, wow, I'm so strong, you know? And I did feel that I was better than the rest, you know? I felt like I was like alpha, and anybody who couldn't deal with this problem is below me. You know, to get what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah,
like definitely that did affect me, and I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say no, I've been so humble all my life. That's not true. But I think the turning point was when I had to deal with my own issues, right? Then only I was just like, okay, shit, like this shit is not easy anymore, you know. But that actually happened uh, in like situations that I had to go through outside of social media. You know, so when I had to go through losing my friends, and you know, I didn't have a boyfriend. Actually, my boyfriend was like, you know, we broke up and whatever. And it was just such a sad place for me. And I realized, oh, where's that strong girl now, huh? Bring her out now. The one who dealt with all this bullshit on Instagram. Where is she now? Where is she now? So you know, you were thinking that you got everything together, right? So now let's hear you talk, right? And that's when I realized, you know, oh my God, like wow, like I really need to appreciate like how bad like too much of social pressure can really get to you, you know? And that's how that's when I really started like working out, and I failed so many times trying to deal with it. I like burst out crying like at the gym, like on the way to work. And then I really started appreciating what pain can actually like do to you, but what it can actually do for you. So it can raise you up and it can also break you down. But like at the end of the day, you're going to come out of it a better person. Uh, Better or worse, that's up to you. Correction there. But yeah, definitely. So I did feel like my ego definitely went up, and then it came back to a normal level. And now I really don't care about. I mean, I do definitely like love my followers. No, I don't like love them. Some of them are annoying. Most of them are annoying, and I just have a few good ones. But no, I appreciate the support that I got definitely, and I will openly say that that had like a huge part to play in me being able to still like show my face on Instagram and keep my head held high. So they were not better than me. They were the ones who I was actually standing on. So that doesn't make it like that doesn't make me better than them. In fact, it's the other way around. So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Thank you for that. Thank you for being honest with your answer because I think it's important for people to understand that we are just human. We let things get to us when things are too amazing, but we also let things get to us when they are worse. So I only have a few more questions for you. I know it's like 8 o'clock in the night and you'll probably want to sleep. But I want to ask you about, since you said that you have an awesome support group, and I want to ask you about friendship. So obviously my friend circles have, not obviously, you don't know. My friend circles have changed over time, right? They've gotten
yeah,
smaller, they've gotten larger, they've gotten smaller again, but it's always different people because I've changed and I'm okay for changing and all of those things. But some friend circles can be very, very toxic. They
yeah,
can tell you that you're changing too fast, you're changing not the way that they would like you to change. The whole ecosystem of
yeah,
friendship, right?
yeah, yeah.
What have you personally done when you are in those toxic friendships or relationships? How have you gotten out of those situations, and was it difficult?
From all the things I've been through, that was the most difficult moment of, I think I might like cry just talking about it. It was actually one of the most difficult things for me to get over because I had friends who I was very close to for a really long time in my life, and they they pretty much shaped who I was. You know, I didn't have any other friends except like this group of girls. And then when it came to a point where I felt like I was losing that, I felt the ground underneath me shift. It was worse than a breakup. Like, oh my gosh, like 50 boys can come and go, but you can't break my heart the way that broke my heart. There was like it was it's a very crazy feeling because I was walking home and I was in Singapore at the time when all of this shit was going on in Sri Lanka. And I remember when I finally came to the realization that, oh my God, I can't keep this group together anymore and I'm losing them one by one. I genuinely like I was walking and I felt like dizzy. I felt like there was like a head rush when I came to the realization that they were gonna let me go, you know. And one of the most difficult things I'll tell you is the first step, which is to identify that this is a toxic relationship. And that is the most difficult thing to do with friends who you have been with for so long. Like you would never imagine that they would let you down because these are like people who you grew up with, man. Like these are like you got taller with them, physically growing with them. How to let go? How? Because I can't look back in my past without thinking of them. So where do I put all my memories? Where do all the memories go? First of all, you know, and just to feel that like, oh, you left your country and now everything that that you left back at home is coming to an end was very difficult for me to stomach. But I had to take that first step, and that is to identify that this is toxic. And one of the things that you do when you're in a relationship like this is you start thinking, is it my fault? Because if it's my fault, I should say I'm sorry. So then you go back saying, oh, I'm so sorry, can we try again? Can we just try again? And then they're like, okay, we'll try again. And then we try again, and then you realize I don't think they're trying anymore. and then you're thinking, no, now you owe me an apology. Now you should say sorry. This woman, oh my God, she broke my heart. She's a bitch. She's this, she's that. And then you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I spoke like that against them. They've been my friends for so long. It's me who's wrong. It's me who's toxic. And it just keeps going back, forth, back, forth, back, forth until you stop and you say, you know what? I'd rather be alone than have this internal war in my head. And that is when you identify that this is toxic. Once you've identified it is toxic, you need to gather the courage to be alone. And you have to be like, it's okay, I'm alone, I got me, I got this. Okay, my friends are gone, I'm gonna get new friends. Okay, my memories are all messed up, I'm going to make new memories. And you start reaching into these areas of your life that you always ignored. And I was like, wow, I didn't know that I like looking at the trees so much. Oh wow, I didn't know that I love talking to my sister. Oh wow, I forgot this girl. She's like one of my really good friends. I love it when she laughs. Oh, did you know I never knew how bad I wanted to work out. And you start like appreciating all these other things that you were ignoring and pushing out of your life because you were so caught up in something in this group that just didn't matter anyway. And at the end of the day, like now when I look back, I'm just like, it's nobody's fault, man. It's nobody's fault. You know what? We just didn't vibe together. It's not your fault. It's not my fault. I don't hate you. You don't hate me. Move on. You just have to have the courage you really have to have the courage to be like, it's okay. Like I'm going to be alone. I'm going to be alone. It's okay when I'm alone. I will look at the trees because I didn't know that I like looking at the trees. You get what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
like it really opens your eyes to like a lot of things. And I remember when I lost those group of girls, man, like I never felt that alone in my life. Like, and loneliness it sucks, really. But I had my sister who was very close to me, so I started talking to her more. And I was like, Mama, when did you become so funny? And she's like, what do you mean? I've always been this funny. Like, and like, and I'm like, really? But like, I didn't know that. But you're hilarious, and I love you. I love my family. Thank you for sticking by me. And you go out there and you start making friends, and it's not easy. It's not easy, and I'm not going to tell you that it's easy, but it's possible. Yes, that I can tell you for sure.
Absolutely. Being on your own with your thoughts is some of the most hardest things you can probably do. But like moving to Australia, going through a breakup, losing friends all alone,
Oh
self-awareness,
my gosh,
self-reflection,
yeah.
and action. Those three were like my pillars. Obviously, I went for therapy as well, just to like keep myself going. But I
Yeah,
learned a lot about myself. I put myself out there because I did a lot of self-reflection and I took action. Normally, people sit with their thoughts and they don't take action
so
towards
true.
making change, right?
So true.
So, acceptance, absolutely. Awareness of toxic friends and family and relationships, so true. Action. That's where you actually take the step forward and be like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm actually
Yeah,
better off.
yeah. And I read this quote once that said, the most effective word against loneliness is hello. And it hit me so hard. I was like, wow, because when you get hurt, when you really get hurt by people who you thought loved you and always had your back, you get so scared to trust someone else.
Oh, yeah.
And like I have this, like, definitely have this ego problem. Oh, I'm so strong, like I don't care, I can trust anyone, and like I don't care even if they go. And I had that, but I realized, even though I was having all this crap in my head, that I had this ideology of me, I was so scared to trust people. Like if someone's like, oh, Meliza, we can
Same.
be there for you. No, it's okay. I will get sick in Singapore. I didn't want anyone to help me. I'll just sleep on my bed and like hope that I don't bloody die. Because I'm too scared to ask anyone for help. Because if you come back into my life, if you leave, this is going to break me to an extent that I won't be able to recover. And that is when you have to sit back and be like, yo, like, no, I'm going to be strong. I got this. I got this. Even I'm going to invite you into my life. I'm going to say hello and I'm going to share this bit with you. Like, and if you go, man, it's okay. I'm going to be okay. So that confidence, you know, you really need to have that confidence and have courage to really open up to people. It's hard. I'm not saying go and open up to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Not everyone deserves the truth. Not everyone deserves to be your friend, right? But if you do find someone that you think is worth it, you know, and they want to take that first step, they want to be in your life, yeah, you know what? Open the door. And if it goes wrong, forgive yourself, forgive that person. It's going to be okay.
Beautiful.
Wow. I feel like we should be writing this shit down.
Melissa, you can probably like make a video series. Or one of the saddest things was I remember seeing your first YouTube video and you didn't continue doing it, and I was just like, man, this woman has a lot to give and she should continue doing it. But you should definitely do it. Like you have, I only have two more small questions, and I know there'll be small answers. But I could go on talking to you all day. I literally can
Oh, that's so
because
sweet. Thank you.
I genuinely look up to you, and I
Oh,
don't mean
thanks
that
a lot.
to bullshit or like get attention or any of that shit. I don't care for it. You genuinely impress me. You genuinely are someone people should look up to. Um,
I'm
and I just
crying.
don't cry. I mean, cry. Crying is beautiful.
Oh my God, if
But
we
I
cry,
just
we can get like more views. No, but like I feel like I'm going to cry because my nose is getting red. So like you can see. Okay, but yes, go
No,
on. Yes.
I just want to say I'm proud of you. Please keep doing what you're doing, spreading
Thank
a good word
you.
out there. Being you, like fuck it, right? You are unique amongst 7.7 billion people out there, and just show the world that you are. And I just want to thank you for making the time. You could have easily said no or just ignored my message and been like, "This is another one of those creeps." Delete. But you didn't. You opened my message and you were okay to do this. So thank you so much, despite your busy schedule. So it means a lot to me personally. I just have two more questions to ask. I've spoken to over 130 people in less than actually a little over a month, and I asked this question from every single person. Kindness is very important to me in the sense that, like you said, you can't be kind to 7.7 billion people. There are people who are going to shoot you in the back, but being kind to yourself is also as important. Knowing when to walk away
Definitely. Yeah.
is a form of kindness. So I want to know, what does kindness mean to you in your life?
Like being kind to myself in a sense, or like being kind to others, or
In your, it can be anything you want. Your perspective of kindness.
oh wow. Um, am I kind? Jeez, I don't know. Um, I think I
Confusion is a
am.
good thing.
Yeah, it is. I feel like, oh, I don't know. I haven't really given it so much a thought. Like, I think I've had like this question in a sense where, uh, you know, if you have a situation where you can choose to be right or be kind, and you should, I mean, you can go either way, but choose to be kind, you know, and it's really something because I feel like when you're hit with a situation, especially if someone else is going through something, and you know, I can be very assertive about my perceptions and what I believe in and what I think is right. But then just like, and I would feel like the right thing to do is to always just like assert what I think, like get back on your feet and like start marching. But I think that it's important to take a step back and definitely be a bit kinder. But you could always give like you could always love someone, but you can give them tough love. Get what I mean? You can get them
Absolutely.
to do the right thing, and you can like it's tough love. I think kindness to me is something that like my parents have shown me. To me, I think they were doing me one of the biggest kindness, but one of the biggest kindnesses. Okay, I don't know, something like that. You get what I mean, right?
Biggest forms of kindness.
Okay, biggest form of kindness. When I had to go through all the bullying that I was going through in school, my parents also understood that the teachers were not right in what they were doing. And every time my sister would come home crying, saying she did this, she did that, like she scolded me in front of all the girls, and she sent me to the principal's office. She called me corrupted, and my parents would just like kiss me on the forehead, comb my hair, pat me on the head, keep me on their lap, and be like, okay, wake up tomorrow and get back to school. And I feel like they never fought my battles for me, and I think that even how much it pissed them off, to me that was their way of being kind. That was a kindness because it made me who I am. So
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I just want to add what I think as well, because I don't know when the next time I'll talk to you is. Kindness to me is obviously being kind with no expectations. You shouldn't be kind with the intent of getting something back.
okay.
But in hopes that one day, if whoever you're kind to meet someone who needs the same, pay it forward. That's all.
Oh,
For me,
definitely.
kindness is a ripple effect. It's a positive ripple effect if done right. And
Yeah,
for me, this whole show is like helping one person. So like out of all the people who stuck through, like if we help one person feel a little less alone and a little bit okay with everything that's going on, fuck yeah, we did our job.
definitely. 100%. I agree. Really, I do.
Meliza, it's been an absolute honor.
Ah,
I would
thank
love to
you.
keep this conversation going. If there's anything that I can do in the future that you would like my help with, please don't hesitate to reach out. I will not delete your chat thinking it's a creep. I will definitely open it up and read your message and get back to you. I would love to keep this discussion going because I feel like you have a lot to offer. Not feel like, I know you have a lot to offer, and thank you so much. Coming from a genuine place, and my mom was on the chat as well,
Mhm.
and she made a few comments saying, "Oh my God, this girl is amazing." So,
Thank you.
but before you go, let the
Yeah.
people know where they can find you in terms of social media. Any future projects that you want us to know about? If there isn't, any final thoughts?
Um, I mean, I think that like after doing this live, I really want to make more videos on YouTube. I don't know why. I just can't get my act together sometimes, I really want to do like others, like I want to
It's a win,
draw, I want to
boys.
learn Spanish, like, but I will definitely start. I will give it more thought. I will figure out how I can start making content for YouTube. So do like hit me up. I think my YouTube channel is on my Leitch page. If it's not there, I'll put it there.
It's
And
on.
yeah,
It's your Facebook link.
I just want to thank everyone who actually came on this. Um, just like honest to God, guys, just like thanks so much for being so supportive and just being awesome. Like it really means a lot, even though like you guys might not think it's much, but y'all just saying things like, oh, we got you, and like, oh, that was a great comment or whatever. Like you have absolutely no idea how much it helps. And I just want to say that I appreciate you and I appreciate your support. So that's
Amazing.
it.
Amazing. Love it. Melissa,
Okay.
have a beautiful weekend ahead. Please keep being you.
Thank
We love
you.
you. Clearly, everyone loves you on the chat as well. Keep doing what you're doing, and I can't wait to see what else you do.
Thanks so much, and thanks. Bye bye, guys.
No worries. See you, Melissa.
Bye.
So, guys, that was Melissa. She's clearly very, very awesome. Give her a follow. Send her a message saying how much you love her. This whole chat and how it's helped you or changed your perspective or something. I'm sure she would love that. Like she said, 100 good messages always beat 10 bad messages. So send her 100 good messages and make her feel good about this video, and she can create more content for you guys that helps you. So, guys, thank you so much for joining. I just had one chat today. I have a submission tonight, which I have to go and get to. For people who haven't met me before, my name is Sharon, and I'm all about positivity through depression. But be safe, guys. Have a beautiful night ahead, and show Melissa some love. Be kind to one another.